Working my hands individually, right? Now I find out what each hand is responsible for doing. They're both responsible for maintaining a straight line, right? We travel to Washington, D.C. That's where your bottom hand's taking you. So your bottom hand's handling the GPS for the direction, and it's also helping your top hand get to connection, right? So if this, when your hands move the right way, this is taking you north, and now I'm getting to connection, right? What you figured out that you don't realize, and you realize it, but you just don't know how to explain it. Watch my bottom hand if I'm working with both hands on the bat. Remember, I told you guys you don't want your bat to get flat here, right? You do want it to get flat as it enters and goes through the hitting zone, right? So watch my bottom hand now with two hands on the bat. What happened? What happened with my bottom hand? It flattened out. So it turned exactly the way I said not to turn it, right? Understand, I'm saying don't flatten it here. Once you start to turn, it's going to get flat. So now you see where the knob is? How the knob is going back towards the pitcher. And then as I'm turning, that's allowing me to keep everything here, and I can stay through the big part of the field, the middle of the field. So it's not about your bat getting flat, it's when it gets flat. And that part is important because now when you're working your top hand by itself, this has to flatten out. You got to get palm up. By the time you get here, you need to be palm up, right? Hence, palm down, palm up. You have to be here by the time your top hand gets here, right? And then we're working through, okay? So now, because you only have the top hand working when we're doing this drill, when I'm talking about connection, the mistake I don't want you to make, it's not so much you making it, it's you because you're younger and don't understand it. You think connection is like, I got to get my elbow to my rib cage. That's not it. No. When you get to connection, you don't need to collapse your backside to get it there and make this happen. Keyword, make this happen, right? I sit here and I allow it to pass through. See how it stays in line? It's still getting to connection. I don't need it. I don't need to squeeze and collapse my backside to really feel this connection here to go through. That's not what I'm looking to do. So it's like if there's a window right here, my elbow naturally is going to get into this slot and want to work that way. So when I get here, it passes through as I'm turning, and I'm naturally working through that slot, and I'm staying through the middle of the field because my bottom hand has already set that direction for me. All right? You did a good job with it last week. So when you're working top hand, understand you're not trying to like glue yourself to your rib cage and turn, right? You just need your elbow to pass through the right slot so that it can stay in line and continue to work straight through the middle of the field. All right, that's top hand. Got it? Let's work. So this whole time now, we just been working bottom hand, top hand, right? The reason why I had you go that last drill that you did, the way you worked it with your top hand and your bottom hand, the reason why I had you do that is so that way now you can start to familiarize yourself, like your hands, right? You make them familiar with each other. Because now we're getting ready to put both hands back on the back and we're going to start working together, right? So now both hands are now starting to get an understanding of, I need to do this, I need to do that. Together, we need to do this, right? All right, so remember we talked about this before, right? Now we got two hands back on the back, but now look where the T is set up at. We're working on the outer part of the plate. Familiar territory for you, right? So same rules apply. It's important that you make sure that the T is set up properly because you don't want to reach for this pitch. It's on the outer part of the plate, right? So I don't want to set it up the tee where I have to like reach to go get it. That's not what I'm looking to do. I want to put the baseball, I want the contact point off the tee to be at the strongest contact point for me as a hitter, right? So as a hitter, once I get set up, my strongest contact point is going to be right here. There's my strongest contact point. So from right here, this is where I'm really going to drive the baseball, right? Now, over time, that may start to change and look a little different for you. Because when I say strongest contact point, what I mean is this is the point that I get to where my hands are in the strongest position before they start looking to roll and turn, right? So there's no roll, there's no turn here. That's what that's about. Now, remember I always tell you, like, hey, finish out in front, right? So now, here we go. Your momentum is going to make that very hard for you to do, right? So you are going to roll. When I say roll, what I mean is when you swing, like how you were going top hand, bottom hand on my hey, finish out in front, sometimes you would like turn here. It's going to happen. It's momentum. It's energy taking you that way, right? Only thing I'm saying to you is you just want it to be natural. You don't want it going that way because your elbow is going towards the third base line, right? If we're staying through the baseball and that's happening, we're okay with it. I just don't want it taking me offline, all right? So now, when we first got started, we talked about approach, right? So approach-wise, we already explained to you, when we're working on the outside part of the plate, the anchor point is always center field, right? Doesn't matter. Outside, middle, inside. Anchor point is always center field. Pitch on the outer part of the plate, middle of the field. So center field to right center field. We're good, right? Forget about the right field foul line because I don't want you trying to guide the ball down the line or trying to push it down the line and be perfect. I want you thinking big part of the field at all times. That way the swing is free and easy. You're not holding back, all right? This part now is going to help you when we go back to doing bottom hand, top hand drills again. Now, same idea. You're going to still get set up, right? And you're going to get to your load position, right? So when you get here, once you get here and you start to engage this back knee and this back hip, make sure that your hip and quads are engaged and you got good balance right here. Once you engage your back knee and your back hip and it starts to turn, that's what's going to allow you to feel like you're really pushing into the ground with your front foot. So your front foot needs to feel like it is pushing through the floor, right? So that's why I said to you, if your toes continue to point directly towards the wall, it's okay, because that's going to let me know that you're really fighting to push into the ground and you're really trying to push through the floor, right? And like I said to you, and I said it before, you don't see it, but there's an energy transfer happening. The swing works from the ground up, not the top down. It's hips before hands, not hands before hips, right? So now when I'm in my stance, what I mean by that now, when I make this move, right there, energy started. So that energy is going from my foot, traveling to my knee, through my leg, to my hip, through my torso, into my shoulders, to my hands, into the back. That energy gets into the barrel. All that energy now, once I make contact, is going into the baseball and sending it out. That's what happens. You just don't see it. Just like when the pitcher goes through his motion and he throws and he releases the pitch, him releasing the baseball, this baseball now turns into energy. So you have energy coming towards you and you need energy going back towards the pitcher. All right? That part leads me to the last part, and this is most important. Reason why I'm saying to you, hey, don't take the knob to the baseball, take the knob back towards the pitcher. Okay, you need this top hand to be like a whip, right? Remember I told you it's like fishing, right? I throw my fishing rod out there, I throw the bait out there, right? Notice I'm getting extended. So at the end of the day, when I start to hit, I need this to have that same effect, right? If I take the knob to the baseball and I go this way, see what happens here? Like now, knob is going here. My top hand, when it gets ready to release or get whippy, it's whipping this way. I don't want that. Because I'm going to pound this baseball right into the ground, right? If I take it back toward the pitcher, at some point, see what happens here? My top hand's got to get whippy, right? So as I'm turning, bang, there it is. You see where I'm at now? So I'm getting there. That, and I keep working through, that's how I'm driving the baseball. It's all happening on my backside. It's initiated by my back knee, initiating the turn, my hip follows, then comes my torso, then comes the shoulder, then here comes the hand, right? So when I get here, energy starts, I initiate back knee, back hip, torso, shoulders, barrel. That's how it works. That's how the energy transfer works. So it's hips before hands, not hands before hips. Understand? So with this drill, when you get to your hitting position, we're just going to work from right here, just like you've been doing with your top hand, bottom hand, and we're working through the baseball, right? If you release, if you're a one-hand finisher and you release, just make sure that you get extension with your top hand, right? So that's why I'm saying to you, make sure if you're going to release with one hand, make sure you're getting this hand extended out, because I need both your hands to work through the baseball, right? If you're going to finish with both hands, which we've already figured out, you're better with two hands. When you get through, finish through. Get both hands extended and finish through. All right? Let's go to work. All right. A couple things I got for you. So after your first round, right? Not bad. So when you get set up, right? When you get to your hitting position, if my leg, my front leg, if I have my weight shifted, maybe say like 60-40, right? What's going to happen is your first move is going to tend to be to kind of like drift back forward to get even, to get back to middle, get back to center before you turn or as you're turning. Not what you want to do, right? So, and that's also what I'm getting ready to share is going to also help you be able to push into the ground and push through the ground better. Like I'm trying to get you to get that feel for pushing through the ground. When you get to your hitting position, try to remain close to 50-50 in terms of your weight distribution. Because now if I'm 50-50, when I initiate this move, I can actually push better into the ground as I'm rotating, and it's going to keep me from moving forward or pushing back, right? So you want to keep everything centered. So when I get here, I want to stay centered as I'm working through. Once I start to rotate, yes, once I start to hit against this solid front side, that's going to shift my weight, but it's going to keep me centered. It's not going to let me go back. And when I make my initial move, I'm not going to drift forward, right? So that's number one. Number two, you have about like a 10-pound weight. That's what that is. The equivalent of this in your bat, it's about a 10-pound weight, right? So your natural instinct, because now you're still developing and building strength, is to feel like you have to swing that bat harder. Notice what I said. I got to swing harder to get to this baseball. No, you don't. I don't need you to swing harder. That's why I was explaining to you earlier, it's the technique, how we move is what's important, right? So your swing pattern, the way your body's moving, the technique to get to the baseball, that's what's most important, right? Because we hit with these, but we generate the power here, down here, especially with the back, hip, and knee, right? So remember I said to you, if I'm here and my move, I take the knob back through the pitcher, I don't have to overswing. All I got to do, I just got to be, my top hand is going to whip. It's going to create that whip effect, and it's going to get me through the baseball that way. right? And when you see me doing this, I'm not saying try to hit the ball like this. No, I'm saying that when you get here, this is going to get to a point where your top hand is going to have to release to get to this pitch to drive it, right? Both hands have a job to do. So both hands are trying to get through the baseball. Your mentality has to be you want to get to the ball, hit through the ball, and then continue your follow through. So that's why I always tell you, think about, I don't want to hit the ball to the wall. I want to hit the ball through the wall. I'm looking to hit hard line drives, singles. Hard line drive singles. If I can hit low line drive singles, great, right? Don't get caught up in a power thing, because all a home run really is a single that went really, really well. It's a hard hit line drive that carried, had backspin and it carried. How I create that is because I got to think, hey, I need to hit this ball through the wall, right? So if you hit this pitch back through the middle, I'm hitting this ball through the pitcher, through the center fielder, through the center field wall. If I hit it the right center field, I'm hitting this ball through the right center field wall. So when you make your move, you want to be 50-50, and then that's going to get there and it's going to work through. All right? And if you're going to be that one-hand release guy, extend out. Get that extension. Good. That's all I need you to do. Don't try to swing hard, right? Just worry about the way your body's moving. Don't worry about trying to swing hard. Same rules apply, right? Don't track the baseball with your eyes. Keep your eyes, head, and chest over the hitting area and hit through the ball. There it is. Money. There we go. All right, remember now, here we go, right? Keep your eyes, head, and chest over the hitting area. Don't track the baseball with your eyes and follow through. Get full extension and follow through. Money.